Welcome, the War Chief of Light is back with another epic video. Hi, my name's Peebiggy, but you lovely people are more than welcome to call me Peeps. This topic might be a little off-putting. I'm gonna ask you to trust. Watch the video, and if you still feel the same way at the end, I get it. But realistically, you'll see she's done respectfully. And if you haven't looked at the title, well, we're talking gatekeeping in Final Fantasy XIV. Yes, it's real, and I think it deserves a discussion. And let's look at it from both sides. Do you understand the situation? How do we move on from it? Because realistically, we know gatekeeping isn't good. Before getting into that, though, if you like videos like these, not gatekeeping, that's not good. You know, discussions, or you like gaming, Final Fantasy, or just nerdy stuff in general, well, honey, you're home. Hit that subscribe button because, listen, we tend to do nerdy here pretty well. Alright, let's start off with the gatekeeping that I've heard of recently, and my thoughts and some ways to get around it. Alright, listen, this one is memeable because I see it everywhere. There are a group of players that really don't like it when you skip the story. I mean, it frustrates them to no end. And no, I'm not making fun of you if this is you. I get it. Final Fantasy XIV is a story-based game. It is an RPG before an MMO. But it is also an MMO. So let's discuss this. I'm going to give you a lesson that I've learned from World of Warcraft, because it very much fits here. I was the player that didn't understand people that would go off and do pet battles all day. I don't get it. It's unfun. You want to play Pokemon, go play Pokemon. I was wrong. What I ended up learning is that everyone has their own definition of fun. That's the term that I coined. Basically speaking, your definition of fun can very well differ than somebody else's. I may like glamour. I may like performance. I may never get a character to 80. Those are all things. There are some people that will only level their gathering and their crafting, or players that will level everything under the sun. There are players that will raid, there are players that will do extremes, and there are players that will just do the casual stuff and maybe build a pretty house. The point of the matter is, every little thing that you find fun doesn't mean somebody else does, and deep down doesn't mean that that's not fun to them. See what I mean? If fishing all day makes them feel better, let them fish. There's actually a grandmother who plays World of Warcraft who does nothing but fish and play pet battles because that's what they like. Have fun. It's your subscription. Same thing here. So deep down, do what you feel like is fun. That's the big moral here. And realistically, there are players that endgame content, the raiding, the PvP, the action, is their fun. My husband's actually one of those guys. And yes, there are moments where I'm like, you're gonna miss a good part. And he's like, and there's a dungeon coming up. That's just how it rolls. That's their type of fun. It is what it is. Let people have fun. There are players who are severely against boosting, especially if you skip the story. Now this really matches the last point a lot, but I know boosting has a little bit more of connotation because you're now end level and you don't know what the hell you're doing. You don't know your class. You don't know nothing. This is out of the box. We used to call these eBay characters. I get your frustration. I do. And to be perfectly honest, boosting was something I didn't enjoy in other games. Mostly because I'm the player that can't just pick up something at level 80 and be like, shit, now what? But that's me. That's my fun. There are other players who can read a guide and be like, cool, and then go off and play into extremes and you're like, how? That's fine. That's for them. It does very much tie into the same idea of, it's their money. Let them do it. They can do it. And as long as they're not hurting your experience or hurting you, there's no reason to not let them do it. And let's be real. Every time a sprout is in a new dungeon, new raid, new anything, you're helping them out, which I appreciate. Thank you so much. So, what's so different with that character that decided to put a little money into it? Also, side tangent here completely, I got into a few dungeons yesterday where I was playing with brand new players. They tell me, hey, I'm new here. And I'm like, I get to help them. The little sprout is growing, guys. Now, this one I've heard a lot of. And it hurts a little, I'm not gonna lie. Warcraft refugees are terrible. I say refugees really loosely here. It's what they're referred to in game. We're terrible. We're toxic. We're bringing the toxicness of the previous game with us. I say us because, hi, Warcraft refugee. Yeah. So, I'm gonna admit here, there are people that came over with a poor attitude. Just like everything else. But just like everything else, most people that come in and do something are good people and want good things and just want to have good things in a good game. Realistically, there's 5 types of players that move from WoW to Final Fantasy in 2021. 1. A drought in content in Warcraft. They got frustrated, they moved on. 2. Blizzard's treatment of their employees. 3. People got sick of the storytelling in-game, or a system, or a leveling, something in-game that just frustrated them and they're like, listen, it shouldn't be this way, time to move on. You've got number 4, the people who follow the popular streamers. No names. No names. But y'all know. And 5, miscellaneous, because listen, we know there's some exceptions to this, a little bit everywhere. We're putting that there. Most people sit in the first 3 categories. So, non-negative connotation, they just needed, it was time for them to move on. Honestly, I'm number 2 and number 3 mixed. More number 2 than number 3, I admit. But that's what brought me here, and the game is what's keeping me here. We just want to have fun. That's it. And guess what? We're having it. We are enjoying ourselves. And I fall in the category of players who didn't know that I needed the change as badly as I did. And I'm loving it. As most people, based on the numbers that you guys are getting. Numbers don't lie. I will admit there are groups who came over who did have a bad attitude. It's true. I mean, I could sit here and lie to you and say it didn't happen, but it did. Whether it was because they follow people that are less than great, or they followed the rules that were in World of Warcraft that were toxic inducing. Stuff like punishing players for poor performance in a dungeon, regardless of the reason. Stuff like being jerks in chat because they could. You could report them all day, they're still there. Stuff like, hey, you're playing the wrong class with the wrong setup, with the wrong covenant. / reroll, you're terrible. This is stuff that happened there. It's a culture change to come to Final Fantasy. Most, again, I really believe that. Most adopted this gladly, joyfully. It's been great. There are some that are having a hard time, and they're being butts about it. To the people who are being butts, block them. Report them. One of the key things about Final Fantasy XIV is it has a great reporting system, and they don't tolerate that bullshit even for a second. So yeah, people who are toxic, take that 30 seconds, report them, let them see that there are consequences for their actions. But realize that the grand majority are in your FCs talking about how much fun they're having. The grand majority go into a new dungeon and are like, this is the best game ever. That's still me. So yes, grand majority, yay. People being butts, report. Problem will solve itself in the long run. Once they get banned for being butts, or they learn, hey listen, I'm a big fan of growing. maybe they learn to be less butt. Deep down, gatekeeping isn't great. And unless somebody is harassing you, unless somebody's being toxic of a player, let them have at it. Let them have fun. You never know how many of these people are in your FCs, how many of these people are in your Discords. You don't know who comes from where or who's enjoying what. If somebody wants to fish all day, well, you are now a fisherman. Enjoy it. And who knows? Final Fantasy is a type of game that the more you do, the more you want to do. That might be the next raider. You don't know. Maybe they're just waiting for an invitation to try. Maybe they're not ready for it right now, but work schedules get better in 2 months from now, and maybe they'll do it then. The point is, Final Fantasy is a great community. Don't let gatekeeping be part of it. Work against it. Continue being inclusive and standing up to those who do gatekeep. Alright, I did want to touch on this subject in the most respectful way possible because I know that there are some feelings sometimes and they slip out. So there are good people that are gatekeeping, they don't realize they're doing it. Or the opposite, they don't know that there is such a difference from one game to another and they have to adjust their attitudes, they have to adjust their community expectations. I figured this video was needed, and I did want to touch on the topic before it got out of hand, especially before Endwalkers. Endwalker, not Endwalkers. Oops. Either way, I told you I wouldn't make an ass of myself. We did okay. I told you it wasn't too bad. We try to keep stuff positive here. At least I do. Either way, if you liked it or you didn't, let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, give me a big old thumbs up. If you didn't, be honest with me. Especially on tougher subjects like this, I appreciate that. Bonus points if you tell me why you didn't like it. Feedback is the best way to improve, and again, this is a conversation, so I would appreciate feedback on this one. And if you like videos like these, you like nerdy stuff, lore, deep dives, Final Fantasy, gaming, I don't know, hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, ring that bell. That way you'll get notifications every time I go live or upload, and bitch, we do that a lot. I upload at least a video a week, and we stream 3 nights a week. So we keep it fun, we keep it busy. Alright, thanks so much for sticking out with me to the end, especially on a tougher subject like this. Have a legendary day, and I can't wait to see you guys again on the next one. Bye. Have fun. No. Just have fun. Even if your kind of fun is some Lalafell tomfoolery.
Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face?